Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? This time, we're tackling something I think a lot of you are interested in, mechanical engineering technician interviews. Getting you ready to absolutely ace it. We're talking about a role that blends, the hands-on work with some serious technical chops. Building, testing, tweaking, all that good stuff that keeps the machines running.
It's crucial work, that's for sure.
Yeah.
To help you nail this interview, we're diving deep into RoleCatcher's career and interview guides for mechanical engineering technicians. They offer some fantastic insights, and we'll also touch on how their AI tools can really help you tailor your answers for maximum impact.
Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of those interview questions, let's set the stage a bit. What does a mechanical engineering technician actually do? RoleCatcher's Career Guide breaks it down nicely. We're talking assisting engineers with designs, making adjustments, running tests, creating layouts, drawings. It's a very hands-on, problem-solving kind of gig.
It is, and that's one of the most rewarding parts of this role. You get to see your work come to life in these, tangible, real-world projects. And the career guide mentions you could be working in manufacturing plants, labs, even offices. So quite a bit of variety there.
Okay, so let's talk perks. The Career Guide highlights good job prospects and high earning potential. I mean, who doesn't love that? But there's also, the other side of the coin. The guide does mention it can be a high-stress environment, so got to be ready to handle the heat.
Being able to work under pressure is definitely key in this role. But on the flip side, you are working on cutting-edge projects, constantly learning and growing, and that's incredibly valuable, especially in a field as dynamic as mechanical engineering, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got the basics down. Now let's get to the heart of this deep dive,
Yeah.
the interview itself. RoleCatcher's interview guide is packed with potential questions, so we're going to break down the most common ones, help you understand what the interviewer is really looking for, and how to, craft an answer that makes you shine.
We'll also look at how RoleCatcher's AI can analyze your answers and give you personalized feedback. So you're not just guessing, you're getting that data-driven feedback to refine your responses, which is really helpful.
Awesome. All right, let's jump right in. Imagine you're sitting across from the hiring manager and they ask, tell me about a time you had to troubleshoot a technical problem.
Hmm.
I feel like this one pops up in pretty much every technical interview.
It's a classic for a reason. The interviewer isn't just looking for a story, they're trying to gauge your problem-solving process, right? Can you think critically, gather information systematically, come up with a logical solution?
Okay, so how should I approach this? Should I go into every tiny detail?
Not necessarily. Start by setting the scene, briefly describe the technical problem and what was at stake, right? Then walk them through your thought process. Did you consult manuals, run diagnostics, collaborate with colleagues, be clear and concise, highlighting your analytical approach?
Okay, that makes sense. And what about the solution itself? Should I get super technical?
I'd say focus on the key steps you took and the outcome you achieved. Did your solution fully resolve the problem? Did you learn anything valuable from the experience? And wrap it up by showing how this problem-solving experience has prepared you for similar challenges in this role.
Got it. Now, here's a question that might feel a bit more personal. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a difficult colleague.
The teamwork question. The interviewer wants to see how you handle conflict, maintain a professional work environment. The key here is to focus on solutions and positive outcomes, not dwelling on the negative.
So how do I talk about a difficult situation without, bad-mouthing a former colleague?
Briefly describe the nature of the conflict, focusing on the actions you took to resolve it. Did you communicate directly with your colleague? Seek guidance from a supervisor. Emphasize your ability to find common ground, compromise, negotiate a solution.
And what about the outcome? It's not always a happy ending, is it?
True, but even if the conflict wasn't fully resolved, you can still highlight what you learned. Did it improve your communication skills, your conflict resolution abilities? Frame it as a growth opportunity, something that made you a better team player.
Okay, yeah, I think I can handle that one. Now, here's a question that I think trips a lot of people up. What are your salary expectations?
This is where preparation is key. Research typical salaries for mechanical engineering technicians in your area. With your level of experience, of course, sites like Glassdoor or Salary.com can be helpful.
But what if I don't want to, throw out a specific number? It feels like I'm either lowballing myself or asking for too much.
It's smart to provide a range rather than a fixed figure. This shows you're flexible but also have a clear understanding of your market value. You can also mention that you're, open to discussing the overall compensation package, including benefits and perks.
And it's a good chance to reiterate your enthusiasm for the role and the company, right?
Right. Enthusiasm goes a long way, but always remember to know your worth and be prepared to advocate for yourself professionally.
For sure. Speaking of knowing your worth, what about this question? Tell me about a time you had to learn something new. Seems simple enough, but I'm not sure what they're really getting at.
They're trying to gauge your adaptability and willingness to learn, especially in a field that's constantly evolving, right? So think of a time you had to quickly pick up a new skill, maybe a software program, a piece of equipment, or even a new approach to problem solving.
So should I focus on a technical skill or something more general?
Either one can work. The key is to highlight your learning process. Did you take a course? Read manuals, ask for help, show that you're resourceful, you're proactive when it comes to expanding your knowledge base.
Makes sense. And what about the outcome?
Describe how you successfully applied that new knowledge or skill, even if it was a small win. Did it improve your efficiency? Help you complete a project? Demonstrate that you can quickly adapt and contribute to the team.
Okay, I like it. On to a question that's a bit more specific to this role.
Yeah.
Explain your experience with prototyping.
This one's about showcasing your hands-on experience. Have you used 3D printers, machined parts? Talk about specific projects where you were involved in building and testing prototypes.
Should it go into detail about the design process or more on the physical building?
I'd say find a balance. Briefly touch on the design aspect, like what were the goals of the prototype? Then delve into that hands-on work. Did you assemble components, run tests, troubleshoot issues, that kind of thing?
Yeah, and I guess it's a good time to mention any specific prototyping methods or tools I'm familiar with.
Absolutely. Mentioning your experience with 3D printing, laser cutting, or other relevant techniques, it shows you're up to date and ready to hit the ground running.
Speaking of being up to date, how do you stay up to date on new advancements in technologies in mechanical engineering?
It's all about demonstrating your commitment to lifelong learning, right? Mention specific industry publications you read, like ASME News or Machine Design. Talk about online resources you use or even, industry events you've attended.
So it's not just about saying, like, oh, I read stuff online. Got it.
Right. Be specific and enthusiastic. Mention a recent advancement that caught your eye or a new technology you're eager to learn more about. Show them that you're genuinely interested in keeping those skills sharp.
Okay, last question for this round. How do you ensure accuracy in your work?
This is a big one. Mechanical engineering technicians need to be meticulous. The interviewer wants to see that you take pride in your work. Have systems in place to catch errors before they become problems.
So, what kind of things should I mention?
Talk about your process, double-checking calculations, carefully reviewing drawings, using checklists. Highlight any specific tools or techniques you use to verify your work. Maybe a coordinate measuring machine or a specific software for quality control.
And probably a good idea to give a specific example, right?
Definitely. Tell them about a time you caught a potential error, maybe during a design review or while inspecting a part. Show that you're proactive and detail-oriented and that you take responsibility for the quality of your work.
Okay, that was intense. But I'm feeling a lot more prepared to tackle those interview questions.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI tools can give you even more personalized feedback and guidance. You can practice answering these questions, get tips on your phrasing, your delivery, and even fine-tune your responses based on the specific company and role. It's like having a secret weapon in your back pocket.
That's a great reminder. But before we dive into RoleCatcher's AI, let's tackle a few more questions and explore how RoleCatcher can help you, really stand out from the competition.
Sounds good to me. All right, let's jump back into those interview questions. We covered some of the basics, but now we're going to tackle some that, really require you to flex those mechanical engineering muscles a bit.
Oh, okay, I'm ready.
Okay, here's one that comes up often. How do you ensure that your designs are manufacturable? This is where your knowledge of the entire engineering process, really comes into play.
So it's not just about coming up with a cool design on paper.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. The interviewer wants to see that you can think practically. Can your design actually be built efficiently, cost-effectively? You need to show that you considered things like material availability, tooling costs, those kinds of things.
Whereas real-world stuff.
Exactly.
So how do I convince them that I'm not just a pie-in-the-sky designer?
Give them concrete examples. Maybe you designed a part using readily available materials to save on costs. Or simplified a design to reduce machining time. Show them you understand those real-world constraints of manufacturing.
Okay, I think I can handle that one. What about this question? How do you ensure that your designs meet all required standards and codes?
This is about demonstrating your commitment to, to responsible engineering. You need to show that you're aware of safety, environmental, industry-specific regulations, all of that.
So it's not just about building something that works, it's about building something that's safe and compliant.
Precisely. Start by highlighting your knowledge of relevant standards and codes. Do you have any certifications? What resources do you use to stay updated? Industry publications, online databases, show them you're on top of it.
And then I could share a specific example of a time when I incorporated those compliance measures into a design.
Perfect, yeah. That shows you can put that knowledge into practice. Now let's switch gears a bit to a question that focuses more on teamwork and collaboration. How would you answer this one? How do you collaborate with other departments or teams during the design process?
Well, engineering is rarely a solo effort, right? You're constantly interacting with designers, manufacturers, quality control. I mean, everyone's got a role to play.
Exactly. The interviewer wants to see that you can communicate effectively, share ideas, and work, constructively with people from different backgrounds.
Okay, so how do I demonstrate that I'm a team player?
Focus on your ability to build strong working relationships, Give them an example of a successful collaboration, maybe a time you had to resolve a conflict or navigate a challenging situation with a team member from a different department.
Right, because it's not always smooth sailing, but it's about how you handle those bumps in the road.
Exactly. Now, here's a question that I know makes a lot of people nervous. Tell me about a time you had to work under pressure.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one. The pressure cooker question.
It is, but it's your chance to showcase your ability to stay calm, focused, and productive when things get a little bit hectic.
But what if I kind of freeze up under pressure? I don't want to come across as someone who can't handle a deadline.
Everyone experiences pressure differently. The key is to show how you manage it effectively. Think of a specific situation where you faced a tight deadline, a complex project, or, maybe an unexpected problem.
Okay, so I should describe the situation and then, explain the specific steps I took to handle the pressure.
Exactly. Did you prioritize tasks?
No.
Delegate responsibilities? Seek help from colleagues? Show them that you have strategies for staying organized and productive, even when things get a little crazy.
And what about the outcome? It doesn't always end perfectly, right?
Even if you face some challenges, focus on what you learned. Did you discover any hidden strengths? Improve your time management skills. Frame it as a growth opportunity that's made you, more resilient and adaptable.
All right, I'm feeling a bit more confident about that one. Now, let's move on to a question that's a bit more technical. How do you ensure that your designs are optimized for performance and efficiency?
This is where you get to really showcase, your deep understanding of mechanical engineering principles. Think about the factors you consider during the design process. Material selection, weight, strength, friction. All these elements play a role in performance and efficiency.
Yeah, it's about finding that perfect balance, right?
Yeah.
Strength versus weight, cost versus performance, it's all connected.
Exactly. And don't forget to mention the tools and techniques you use to optimize designs. Have you used simulation software like FEA or CFD? These are powerful tools that allow you to, test and refine designs virtually before they're built.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. And then, a concrete example would really tie it all together, right?
Absolutely. Tell them about a project where you successfully optimized a design, explaining the steps you took, the positive results you achieved. Show them you can translate theory into practice and deliver designs that meet both those functional and performance requirements.
Okay, one last question for this round. How do you approach testing and validation of mechanical designs?
This is a critical step in the engineering process. You need to show that you're meticulous, detail-oriented, and committed to delivering a high-quality product.
So it's not just about building it and crossing your fingers.
Definitely not. Walk them through your process for developing test plans, outlining specific test cases, determining the criteria for success or failure, all of that. Emphasize the importance of documentation, recording all test results, noting any deviations, detailing the steps taken to resolve issues, really showing that attention to detail.
Yeah, and I'm guessing a real-world example would be a great way to, wrap that up. Maybe a time when I cut a design flaw through rigorous testing and, save the project from a major setback.
That's a perfect illustration, yeah. It shows understand the importance of testing and validation, and that you have the skills and experience to ensure the reliability and quality of your designs.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground on interview questions. But before
Yeah.
we move on, let's circle back to something you mentioned earlier, RoleCatcher's AI tools.
Uh,
How can those help me prepare for these tough questions?
This is where things get really interesting. Imagine having a virtual career coach who can, analyze your answers, provide personalized feedback, and even help you tailor your responses for specific companies and roles. That's what RoleCatcher's AI offers.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Let's start with the AI-powered feedback feature. You can input your answers to those practice questions, and RoleCatcher's AI will analyze them, identifying areas for improvement. It might suggest adding more detail, tweaking your phrasing, or even reframing your response to better highlight your relevant skills. It's like having a second set of eyes, but with the added benefit of AI-powered insights.
So it's not just about catching typos or, grammatical errors. It's about making sure my answers are clear, concise, impactful.
Exactly. And here's where it gets even more impressive. RoleCatcher also has a video practice tool. You can record yourself answering those interview questions just as if you were in the actual interview setting.
Wait, so I can practice my delivery and body language too?
Precisely. Their AI analyzes your video, providing feedback on your pacing, your tone of voice, your eye contact, everything that contributes to a strong performance.
That's amazing. It's like having a mosh interview with an expert who can, really pinpoint areas for improvement.
yeah.
What kind of feedback does the video practice tool provide?
It can tell you if you're speaking too quickly or too slowly, if your tone is engaging, even if you're making eye contact with the camera. It can also analyze your content, letting you know if you're rambling, if you need to provide more concrete examples, if you should rephrase something for clarity. It's a really holistic approach to interview prep.
Wow, that sounds incredibly valuable. It's like having a personalized coach guiding you every step of the way.
Exactly. And the best part is, it's all tailored to you and the specific job you're applying for. RoleCatcher's AI takes into account the company's culture, the job requirements, even the interviewer's style to help you craft answers that resonate.
That's incredible. So it's not about giving you like canned answers or turning you into someone you're not. It's about empowering you to be the best version of yourself in that interview setting.
Precisely. RoleCatcher's AI tools are all about helping you refine your own unique experiences and skills to showcase your true potential.
Okay, I love that. Now, before we wrap up this section, let's take a quick look back at that RoleCatcher career guide. I know it mentions some other important aspects of the job, like career progression, the overall work environment. What were some of the key takeaways there?
The guide emphasized the importance of continuous learning. Technology is constantly evolving, so staying up to date on the latest advancements is essential. They also highlighted the variety of work environments. You could be in a bustling manufacturing plant one day and a quiet research lab the next. It's a very dynamic field.
Yeah, that's great to know. I think it's important to have that like well-rounded understanding of the job, beyond just the interview.
Absolutely. And don't forget, the career guide also provides insights into potential career paths. You could move into management, specialize in a particular area, or even pursue further education to open up even more opportunity.
Okay, that gives me a lot to think about. I'm feeling much more prepared to, tackle this interview and explore all the possibilities within this field.
That's what we like to hear. Now, let's move on to the final stage of our deep dive. We'll explore some of the key trends and challenges shaping the mechanical engineering landscape and discuss how you can, really position yourself for success in this dynamic and ever-evolving industry.
Okay, so we've really dug into the interview process and those awesome AI tools from RoleCatcher. But now let's kind of zoom out a bit, and look at the bigger picture of mechanical engineering. What are some of those like trends and challenges that are really shaping this industry?
Well, mechanical engineering is constantly evolving, driven by technological advancements, changing customer needs, the global economy. It's a dynamic field with a ton of exciting opportunities, but also some definite challenges to be aware of.
So for those aspiring mechanical engineering technicians out there listening,
Yeah.
what's on the horizon for them? What should they be like paying attention to?
One of the biggest trends we're seeing is the increasing use of automation and robotics in manufacturing. Robots are getting, more and more sophisticated. They're handling tasks that were once done manually.
Yeah, that's got to be a game changer. But I got to ask, does that mean fewer jobs for human technicians?
Not necessarily, no. While some tasks are definitely being automated, this also creates, new opportunities. Mechanical engineering technicians with skills in robotics, programming, automation systems, those are going to be in high demand.
Okay, so it's about adapting, right? Learning those new skills to stay ahead of the game.
Exactly, yeah. And speaking of adapting, another major trend is that focus on sustainability and environmental responsibility. Consumers are demanding eco-friendly products, and governments are, implementing stricter regulations.
Right. We're all becoming more aware of our environmental impact these days. So how does that affect mechanical engineering specifically?
It's creating a need for technicians who can design and develop products that are, energy efficient, made from sustainable materials, have a lower environmental footprint. Think about designing lightweight vehicles to reduce fuel consumption or developing more efficient HVAC systems for buildings, things like that.
Yeah, so if our listener is, interested in making a positive impact on the environment, this could be a great path to explore. Now, what about 3D printing? I keep hearing it's like revolutionizing manufacturing. How's that impacting mechanical engineering?
3D printing, or additive manufacturing, as it's also known, is, it's definitely a game changer. It allows engineers to create those complex shapes and designs that were just, impossible or too expensive to manufacture before using their traditional methods. So this is opening up all sorts of incredible possibilities for rapid prototyping, customization, on-demand manufacturing, all sorts of things.
It sounds like it could really speed up the whole design and development process. So what kind of specific skills do mechanical engineering technicians need to really thrive in this 3D printing world?
Expertise in 3D printing design software, knowledge of different 3D printing materials and processes, and really, an understanding of the limitations and advantages of the technology itself are all crucial. And it's, a rapidly evolving field. So that passion for continuous learning, that's essential.
Makes sense. Okay, so we've talked about some of the exciting stuff, those trends, but I know there are also some challenges facing the industry. What are some of the things aspiring technicians should be prepared for?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is the skills gap. That rapid pace of technological advancement is creating a huge demand for highly skilled workers. But there just aren't, enough qualified candidates to fill all those roles.
So it's a competitive job market. Got it. What can I do to really stand out?
Focus on building a strong foundation in, those core engineering principles. Don't just chase the latest trends, master those fundamentals. Also, develop a diverse skill set, technical skills, problem solving, communication, teamwork. All those are incredibly valuable. And of course, continuous learning. We keep saying it, but it's key.
Yeah, it's not just about what you know today, right? It's about that ability to learn and adapt to those new technologies and challenges.
Exactly. Another challenge, particularly for those, interested in working for global companies, is navigating that increasingly interconnected, global marketplace.
Okay, so what does that mean for mechanical engineering technicians specifically?
It means, being aware of different design standards, manufacturing processes, and those cultural nuances, developing cross-cultural communication skills, that global mindset. Those can be really, really valuable assets in this environment.
So it's about thinking beyond your local market
Yeah.
and understanding how engineering practices might vary around the world.
Right. And finally, we can't ignore the changing nature of work itself, right? Automation, remote work, the gig economy, all of that is transforming the way we work.
Yeah, for sure. So how's that impacting the mechanical engineering field?
It's creating more opportunities for flexible work arrangements, freelance projects, remote collaboration, but it also requires strong self-management skills, digital fluency, the ability to adapt to different work styles and environments.
So it's a mixed bag, right?
Yeah.
Exciting new possibilities, but also that need to be adaptable and proactive.
Yeah, that sums it up nicely. The mechanical engineering landscape, it's, dynamic, ever-changing. The key to success is to embrace lifelong learning, stay curious, and be willing to adapt.
Awesome advice. Okay, so before we wrap up this whole deep dive, let's touch on one final topic: career advancement. What are some tips for those who want to climb that ladder in this field?
Well, first, Start by building a strong foundation, both in terms of, technical skills and practical experience. Seek out opportunities to learn new things, take on those challenging projects, gain exposure to different areas of mechanical engineering.
So it's about being, proactive and seeking out those opportunities even early on in your career.
Exactly, yeah. And once you've got that solid foundation, consider specializing in a particular area that interests you. Robotics, automation, sustainable design. There are so many paths you can explore.
And I'm guessing, certifications can play a role here.
Absolutely, yeah. Certifications can really demonstrate your expertise, your commitment to professional development, gives you that competitive edge. Look into certifications like the Certified SolidWorks Professional, the CSWP, or the Certified Manufacturing Technologist, the CMFGT, or the Certified Mechanical Engineering Technician, the CMIT. Those can really boost your credentials.
Yeah, those are good ones to have on your resume for sure. And beyond certifications, what are some other ways to advance my career?
Networking is crucial. Attend industry events, join those professional organizations like ASME, connect with people on LinkedIn. Don't be afraid to, reach out to people you admire, even just for, informational interviews. Building a strong network can really, open doors and provide those valuable insights into the industry.
So it's about building relationships, right?
Yeah.
And learning from those who've already kind of walked the path you're interested in.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the importance of self-promotion. Create a strong online presence, showcase those skills and accomplishments, be your own advocate, let people know what you're passionate about and what you bring to the table.
Great advice. Okay, so to wrap things up, what are the key takeaways for our listener who's, getting ready for that mechanical engineering technician interview?
First, thorough preparation is absolutely key. Use those resources from RoleCatcher, both the career guide and the interview guide. Really understand the role, the industry, the types of questions you might be asked. Practice those answers, and don't be afraid to use RoleCatcher's AI tools to get that personalized feedback and really refine your delivery.
And beyond the interview itself, remember that this field, mechanical engineering, is constantly evolving. Yeah. Embrace that lifelong learning. Stay curious, be adaptable, build that strong network, seek out mentors, and never stop exploring those new possibilities.
And most importantly, bring your passion and enthusiasm to that interview. Let them see your excitement for this field. That's what will really make you stand out.
That's fantastic advice. Thank you so much for guiding us through this deep dive. It's been incredibly insightful.
My pleasure. Best of luck with your interview, and remember, your future in mechanical engineering, it's bright.
That's it for this deep dive, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.